Hey, it's K-Bar User again. Now, a lot of these videos are going to be shot consecutively same days when I have the time to do it, so. Alright, part 1. Wood sense. What's wood sense? Wood sense is having the common knowledge of the woods. Alright. Common knowledge of the woods is this. There's plants out here, there's trees out here, water, everything you need to live is out here. Neolithic man, cavemen, whatever you want to call them, they did it for years on a very small basic kit. Not saying it's going to be easy, especially with our sheltered lives, living in warm houses, watching TV, all that other happy stuff. But if you need to live out here, because you're lost, because you know, whatever, then you need to have a little wood sense. Around me here, here's a poplar tree. Other areas of the country, they're called aspens. Some places they're called willows. The bark of this tree, you can make aspirin out of. You drink a concoction made out of this bark, and you can stop pains, you can stop aches, you can stop headaches. Here's a yellow pine. Yellow pine generally creates fat wood. I can't get into the whole thing of what pine can do for you, but believe me, there's a million uses for pine sap, pine wood. There's a million. It can heal up cuts, it can heal up anything. It can even be made to, you can eat the cambium layer of that tree in a survival situation and still get carbs out of it and whatnot. So wood sense. Wood sense is knowing what you're doing out here. This will develop over time. It's something that I cannot teach you, but it's something that will develop over time by being out here. You hear a stick crack. Most people pass it off. I automatically generate to it. If there's something cracking a stick on the ground, it's not the wind. Today is basically a windless day. So therefore, if there's sticks cracking, there's something over there. Now, is that something over there edible? Or is it hurtable? Is it going to hurt you, or can you eat it? Generally, if it can hurt you, you can eat it if you can kill it. But the point is, can you kill it? So you hear a stick crack. Boom. You automatically generate to that spot. Oh, it's a chipmunk. Well, do I need to eat a chipmunk today? No. Okay, so you enjoy it. Sit there and watch them. The chipmunks are fun to watch. Same stick cracks. You turn around, there's a bear standing there. Now. It's a little bit different story. Everybody tells you how to, back away slowly, don't make any sudden moves, don't run. You're automatically a food source then. But there's a bear standing there. Is he walking past you? Is he walking towards you? What? The best advice I can give you on this is back up slowly, make a biggest target as you can. I mean, unzip your jacket, make a big target. Animals don't typically attack things that are bigger than they are. I said typically. Some animals, it's all in their personality. Just like humans. And that's the way you want to think about animals. They're just like humans. Deer. I've been chased by deer. I've caught them in the middle of whatever they were doing. They got aggravated and they charged. You're, stupid deer. I've had squirrels that run at me. And of course, bear, coyote, you name it. So the wood sense of that was be able to read the animal. Is he nervous? Is he doing nervous looking things like kind of, just keep glancing at you, or did he stop and put his head down? Is the back of his neck, is the hair raised up? Is his ears tilted forwards? Is he in a fighting posture? Well, in that case, no. All right, then just be quiet and see what he does, because 90% of the time they'll just move off. If he's in them postures or whatever, well then of course it's time to take action and you do what you need to do. What I'm going to tell you is this. Any predatory animal, mountain lion, bobcat, coyotes, wild dogs, bears, any predatory animal, when you catch them in a certain time, they're going to be nasty. You can see the same bear today, same coyote, same whatever. He's going to walk past you. Tomorrow he might not be so nice about it. So just bear that in mind. But wood sense. You get a feel of nature. Is it wet? Is it damp? Is it a beautiful day like today, but it's only 50 degrees? So on and so forth. You're going to get a sense for this. It's not something that you could really teach. It's something you're going to learn. You're going to learn it. The only way you're going to learn it is by getting out into the woods. There's millions of hunters out there, and campers and bush people, that spend X amount of months sitting in their houses, sitting in an office, sitting at their jobs. Not saying that they don't have to, but I'm just saying they do. And then one day they get a hair in their butt and they say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go camping. They go buy camping equipment, they walk out in the woods, they're out there for 2 days, they come back, they're fine. On the other hand, a lot of these people do the same thing and they go out there and they get into a lot of trouble. So they just don't know the place. They don't know the fact that that big crack that they heard at 2 o'clock in the morning is an animal walking through. Oh, a limb fell out of the tree. No. The sense of it is, okay, I heard a tree crack. Is it windy? No. Is it raining? Nope. Is it whatever? Nope. Okay, well, then you got to deduce from there. Was there an animal stepping on this stick? All right, there was an animal stepping on this stick. What kind? You can tell this after years of being out here, whether it's a deer walking through the woods, whether it's a bear, whether it's a squirrel running up a tree. I'll just give you 3 examples of that. Typically, if it's a squirrel running up a tree, you hear a tree branch drop, crack, whatever. You'll hear it scurrying up the tree like okay? If it's a deer, deer typically walk 3 steps. If they're moving slow and being cautious. If they're not and they're just walking through, you'll hear 4 clumps. And the cracking of the sticks, of course. Bear are a different story. Bear has a padded foot. They also have fur that goes down over this padded foot. Bear typically don't step on sticks that hard. And literally, you can see a deer or hear a deer walk through this woods. A bear can walk right behind it and you won't hear him. It has to be a pretty big stick for you to hear it crack, to say, hey, there's something walking over there. Unless the leaves are dry. There's not a whole lot of leaves down now, and they're wet. They're damp. They're not going to make a whole lot of noise. Now when the leaves are dry and they're all off the trees, whatever walks through the woods is going to make a lot of noise. Small animals make scurrying sounds. basically your skunks, raccoons, stuff like that, they make a scurrying, dragging noise. It'll be like you'll hear the little drag behind them because of their tails, because their legs are pushing through the leaves. Deer typically don't. Deer typically make 4 crunches. Bear, typically, you can hear them moving, but very quietly because of the padded paws, because of the extra area they have of their paw, because of the hair that's over it. So this is just some of the things you need to learn out in the woods. Now the best exercise I can tell you to do is if you're really going to be out in the woods, whether you're a hunter or a camper or a bushcraft or whatever you want to do when you get older, just go out in the woods and sit. That starts your learning experience. Just go out in the woods, find a place to sit down and just sit there. Why? Because you're not scaring animals. They're moving naturally. You'll get a feel for what trees make certain noises when the wind blows. You'll get a feel for different smells. You'll get a feel for the animals will walk by at a normal level, and you can hear what they're doing when they walk through the woods. Now, if you spot a deer, study that deer as he walks through the woods. Is he taking 3 steps? Is he nervous? Deer will pounce their leg like a horse if they're really nervous. Is he nervous? Is he just casually feeding through an area? If he's casually feeding through an area, chances are there's not a whole lot of predators around, if any. If it's a buck, antlers. If it's a buck, is he licking the tree branches? Is he sniffing the ground? Is he putting his head up in the air and sniffing? If he is, then there's does in the area. Or a predator. If his nose is up in the air or his head's up right and his ears are turned forwards and he's kind of... Watch for predators. That's the kind of sense that you need to pick up. But that's the exercise I want you to do. Just go out and sit in the woods. Take a lunch or whatever. Go out there and just, spend a couple hours just sitting and observing. That's the whole thing about learning about this, is the observation of everything. You can look, and this takes time to practice, and the best way I can tell you to do it is I was told to watch ants. But you can look at that wood. You can look at it. Or you can see it, or you can look through it. Now what I mean by that is on this camera, you see the woods behind me. You see the woods. You're looking at it. Okay? You take that same view that you're going to have. See the woods. It's not just a bunch of trees. There's a cherry tree, there's a maple tree, there's a couple of cherry trees, there's an old maple, there's some poplar, there's some white pine, some oak trees growing. Now you're seeing the woods. Now you're seeing the trees, you're seeing the different types of leaves, you're seeing the canopy itself. Just for instance, over in this area, if you look up into the canopy of the trees, which is up towards the top, you can't see anything there. It's just full. If you go over in this area, over in here, you can see daylight out there. You can see sky. So that means there's a field out there, or some kind of clearing. So if you're lost, you don't want to stay in the canopy. You want to go out into the clearing. So if you look up into the trees and it's full and you can't see anything open, chances are it's full of woods. If you look up into the trees and you can see an opening out there where you can't see trees in the background, that's generally a clearing. Generally. Head for that area. Now, that's seeing the woods. Looking into the woods, same scenario, same picture. Now, mosquitoes. Don't look at the wood. Don't see into the woods where you can see the different kind of trees that's around. look through them. Look through the woods. Now what you're looking for is trees grow perpendicular to the ground. Is there any linear shapes out in them woods? You see any dark shadows? That's long ways. A linear shape is not a natural thing in the woods. Any kind of linear shape that you see way up there in the woods, that's because you're looking into the woods. You're not seeing it. You're not just looking at it. Any linear shape you see up there in the woods moving along or not moving along, well, hey, wait a minute now. That's something weird. Well, check this out. Be careful of that. Let your eyes and let your ears tell you what's going on behind you, alongside of you. What I mean by that is your ears cover 360 degree. Your eyes don't. They only cover 180. Excuse me. Some people's eyes only cover 180. Let your ears tell you what's going on over there. Now, if your ears tell you that something cracked, you do what we used to call in the service called check your 6. That means your 6 o'clock position, because this is your 12. Okay, I don't see anything moving, but something is over there. And you walk along. And you just every now and then stop. Take a look back, a quick look through the woods, not seeing the woods, not looking at the woods, but through the woods. See if you see any of them linear shapes or anything like that moving. Let your ears do that. Now your eyes will pick up any unnatural movements. They'll get used to the swaying of the trees in the wind. Now if a squirrel runs up one of them trees, or a deer pops out, or something's moving, your eyes will pick it up and naturally gravitate to it. Trust them instincts. If your eyes say, hey, wait a minute, and your head will turn automatically, trust that instinct, because there's probably something moving over there, because your eyes will pick up unnatural movement. Your nose. Basically, a human can't really smell animals. But bears smell like an old horse barn. It's a really acrid, how can I put this without cursing on camera? Urine smell. That's what they smell like. You pick that scent up in the woods, let your nose guide too. So that's 3 senses of the 5 that you supposedly have. Alright, so now you smell this acrid scent. You know, it smells kind of musky, a urine smell. Now it's time to start being careful. Deer, you can't really pick up a smell unless you're really close to them or you walk across the bed, and they're more of a musky smell. Like a heavy, almost like a foot odor smell. But you can smell them if they're close or if they just left. Same thing with a bear. If a bear just left an area, you'll be able to smell the scent. Squirrels, rabbits, stuff like that, generally you're not going to pick up a scent. And if you can, you got the best nose in the world. And remember this, humans are predatory also. Humans make the big mistake of wearing aftershave, smoking, talking. This is all going to be picked up by your hearing. I went to certain schools when I was younger, and you could pick up the smell of cigarette smoke a long distance in the woods. If you hear voices talking where there shouldn't be anybody talking, indication number 2. Okay? So you got to be careful with humans. I've had human beings that just sat there and let me walk right up to them. And scared the bejiggers out of me because they'd be, 10 feet in front of me like, hey, how you doing? Ah! Geez, they could have shot you. Or they could have shot you. I've been shot before by hunters. So just be careful. I mean, I'm not saying you can't enjoy it out here, but just be careful. Let your eyes, your nose, your ears, let your body tell you. Your body will tell you if it's warm, if it's cold, if you need to get warm. If you're cold, you need to get warm. If you're warm, you need to get cooled off. Let your body tell you. Let your eyes, your ears, and your nose work for you. Your taste of scent, or your sense of taste is going to be coming into play later on in your woods career. Don't read the survival manuals and go by it. I'm going to take this plant, put it in my mouth, and chew it up. And if I don't die within 10 minutes, it's good to eat. No. Forget that part. That's, I believe it's called the universal edibility test. Forget that part. There's some plants that will kill you immediately. There's some plants that will kill you days later. One of the plants that grow around here is what they call poison hemlock. Just by handling the plant, you could poison yourself. So you can imagine if you put a piece of that in your mouth, chewed it up. Alright. So, wood sense, back to that. Like I said, look through the woods. Don't just look at it. Don't look and see what's in the woods. Look through the woods. You're not looking at this area right here. You're looking way off over there. And your eyes will cover everything in between. Let your senses guide you. If it don't smell good, it's not good. If it don't look good, it's not good. Let your body guide you. If you're cold, warm. If you're warm, cool off. So that's wood sense. So, take that to heart and study that. And like I said, your exercise for this one would be just going out here and sitting and learning that, hey, wait a minute. I've always looked at the trees. It's not good enough if you're out here. Look at them, yeah, they're nice. Then you see them. It's like, oh yeah, well there's a maple and there's a cherry. Look through the woods. I'm not sure if you can do it on this camera, but if you look through the woods, you could look at the trees, you could see the trees, but you can look way over there through the trees and see, other trees over there, see different trees that are down. Pick up all them little things. And like I said, especially anything linear, that's a dead giveaway. There's not really any natural linear shapes in the woods, except for maybe stone walls. Even down trees usually don't stay linear. They're perpendicular. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, this is K-Bar User. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please do. Don't forget to comment, please. And we'll see you on the next one.